Okay. Good morning and welcome. Awesome. Good. Oh, sweet. There's jammies.
Yeah. It's Friday.
Okay, beautiful, my friends. Let's do this. Let's just stretch your fingers, roll your wrists a couple times. Good. And then let's just take one hand, just gently draw your fingers down. You can keep your elbow bent or you can straighten your arm and start to really just stretch your fingers. Drop the shoulder. Good. And then release that, turn that hand so the fingers are pointing down, hold the top of the hand and draw it in as you press, let the shoulder drop. Good. And then just roll this wrist a few times in both directions. Yes, and we'll do the same thing with this hand. So just hold the fingers and draw them back with your elbow bent or arm straight, dropping your shoulder. Good. And release, turn the fingers down, grab the back of the hand and do the same thing. Good. And then release, roll that one. Good. Bring your hands together, interlace your fingers, and let's just kind of floss the fingers a little bit. So I'm kind of gripping them in and just moving, a little bit of massaging right at the base of the fingers. Okay, and then we're just going to change the interlace, do the same thing. Good. And then change the interlace again. Take the thumb of one hand into the palm of the other and just circle the palm. Good. So whatever direction you're going in, notice. And now change direction and notice how that feels. Sometimes, one way for me, I feel is unraveling tension, and the other way is winding it up. So feel for yourself. Good. Okay, and then release. Maybe just rest your hands for a moment, just so you can feel what you've done. And then we'll change the interlace. So opposite interlace, take that opposite thumb into the palm and just press in, start to circle, massage, unwinding tension. So open hands, it really affects our breath, our hands. And so if you think about if you've ever lived in Winnipeg, any place really cold, and when you're out and it's cold, you make these fists and we kind of hunch in and the breath becomes a little bit more shallow. And if you see people, you can just let your hands rest for a moment, and as we age, I see it with my dad, it's Parkinson's, that the hands kind of they call it like lobster clawing. And they kind of come in. You might even notice you do this sometimes. And you're sealing your breath. So we're just open the hands here. Open your breath. And joining your palms together now in front of your heart. Inhale, grow tall. And exhale as you are. Pause in your stillness. And just feeling the energy of the hands connected. Imagine a free flow of energy through the hands, circulating through the arms, through the chest. And just feeling your breath in your chest area. And we'll open practice and chant Om 3 times. So take a nice full inhale. And release it through your mouth. And we'll begin. Inhale. your chin. And release your hands to your thighs. Lift your chin and open your eyes. Okay, my friends. So we're going to start just very simply. I think we actually maybe did this in the last class we were in. Just lying over either your bolster or a rolled up blanket by heart. And just wait.
Have a great class.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to use the bolster, but if you have a blanket, you'll open it up and you'll just fold it or roll it into a little sausage, and that will go right underneath your chest. And if you're going to use the bolster, it's just probably a bit of a higher lift, and then adjust what you need under your head and under your hips maybe. Okay. So the chest is supported. Maybe the arms come over top of your prop, and the head can be supported or not, depending on how you feel. And your legs can be stretched out straight or bent. You could also put a support underneath your hips. So just to feel yourself in this, open chest, open heart position. And feel free once you're in to close your eyes. I'm just going to sneeze. The reality of my world right now. I always say, like, sneezing, coughing while you're yogaing is just a sign of things opening and being released. Okay, now I'm comfortable. I'm going to bring the soles of the feet together and move into Baddha Konasana with the knees open out to the side. That is comfortable for me. If that's comfortable for you, go ahead. And if not, you could even just have your legs wide apart and straight. So we just add a little bit of opening into the pelvic floor. And then for the next few breaths that you're here, as you breathe, just start to feel the breath in the chest area. And that will be the front of the chest, maybe the sides of the ribs, and even into the back of the heart space. This is the element of air in the heart. And that's because this is where we breathe into our lungs. And so just taking time to notice, and if you want to play with the breath a little bit, then at the top of the inhale, you expand out from the inside out. It's just a muscular effort. See if you can expand and release. So it's fine if that doesn't make sense or it just makes you harden somewhere, then just let that go and continue to be with your breath. And feel your shoulders. Maybe they're on the floor or just above the floor. Just give that permission to be heavier, more relaxed. Okay, and however you are, stay in your stillness. Know you can adjust your legs to a different position if you need to. Let's take the right arm, and you're just going to reach it up to the ceiling and then over to the left. And just reach. You don't need to lean over to the left. You're just going to reach and move the shoulder, maybe off your bolster, off your prop. And then bring the right arm back out. And so you'll settle back. Just take a moment, feel if anything's changed, just so you know what you're releasing. And then we'll do the same with the left arm. So just reach it up to the sky and over to the right, just like you're reaching. You can even reach the right arm too. And then come back. You might be adjusting your head at the same time. And then we'll just do that a few times, just taking one arm over, reaching, and coming back. Good. So it's not too complicated. Just with your painting lines or a rainbow over you. And reaching for the pot of gold. Good. Okay, so we'll finish up with the left arm. Come back. Drop in again. I'm going to take this prop out from behind my head so I get a bit of a bigger drop. And if that is okay, you can do that too, or it's all fine. Good. Take one more big breath. Good. Okay, and then if your legs are bent or Baddha Konasana, we're just going to stretch them long and reach your arms up to the sky and then over your head. And you might have your prop there to support the backs of the hands or the wrists, if that feels okay, or just have your hands on the backs of the hands on the floor. Good. And then just reach now in two directions. So you're reaching the arms as if you're reaching for something over your head. You're going to press your heels away from you. If you want to point your feet and press away, or point and flex, or roll your wrists, just extending yourself so long, but feel free to move ankle joints, wrist joints. Good. And now take your bottom ribs and press them down. And so, I have the bolster there. It's like I'm really pushing into the bolster from the tops of the floating ribs into the backs of the floating ribs into the bolster. And it might be different if you're on the blanket roll. So I'm still reaching my arms, I'm still extending my legs, and I'm really anchoring the ribs down. And then just flop. You can put your arms back down by your sides if you like. Let your feet flop. Good. Okay, and then bend your knees. Roll yourself to one side. Okay. And so let's just hang out on your side. If you can see me, I'll just take my arm like we do this. So this is the bolster here, and you can have blanket. I'm going to use block and make it a little more intense. But so what we're going to do here is just stretch out on the side. So you can stay with whatever prop you have. And if I bring the block in, it is more intense, but also more effective. So whatever one, you're going to get a side stretch either way. If I take the block, I angle it, I'm going to find that place right underneath the underarm side of the breast here. And then I can support my head, take a few moments, I can drop in and just kind of see how this is. So we're going to take both arms over the head if that works. If that doesn't work, it depends what you're on, then just hold your head with your right arm. Left arm can just drape in front. I just want you to feel something like through this side of the ribs. Okay, so just take your time, drop in as you feel you can. With the left arm over your head, if that's okay. And also throw in your prop. So I'll just take this blanket, support my head, if that works. And then once you're in it, just use the breath to let yourself be very heavy on that side. And whether you're on bolster, blanket roll, block, after a few moments, you're just going to start to rock yourself a little bit front to back, and just enough so that you feel like, okay, I'm just massaging this area. And with the block, I can feel this is a tender spot for most of us. So with the block, for sure, I can feel that tenderness. So I'll just use my left hand on the floor to kind of guide. If you're on the bolster or the blanket, you're still going to get, a nice opening there. And so whatever works. Just breathing. Maybe you're still rocking. And I'm going to find my place of most discomfort. So that's bringing the chest, leaning more to the front of the, like right by the front of the body more, leaning more forward is going to be more uncomfortable for me. So that's where I'm going to rest. And we're just going to do maybe 5 breaths here. Support yourself however you need. Soften your breath and relax as much as you can. Like you're sleeping. Good. If you need to take the left arm back, rest it on your left hip or on the floor, do that. Good. Okay. And now if you're on bolster or blanket roll, you might just roll back onto your back. And if you're on the block, I'm just going to take the block out and let's just all come onto your back. Whether you have the bolster or blanket roll there is fine. We'll just take a few moments. So you can almost like a pseudo shavasana position here and start to feel what you've done. Okay, if you want to stretch your arms over your head, extend your legs. You know, I can feel so much more has happened already on the right side. So let's add, whether you're on your bolster blanket on the floor, take your arms over your head. Left hand's going to grab the right wrist. And we're just going to crescent over to the left a little bit. So you might even lift your chest and move yourself over to the left. And then you can walk your legs over to the left a little bit. And then now I'm going to press the right side of my body to the floor. So this outer right side, you know, might start to hike up towards the ceiling. I'm just going to anchor it back down as I give a gentle pull on the right arm. Open your right hand. And I didn't cross the legs. You know, sometimes we do this and we cross the legs. I just walk the legs to the left and I'm going to push out a little more through the right heel. So I'm just opening that right side. I'm just going to say everything again that I'm doing. I have the left hand holding the right wrist. The right hand is wide open. I'm just gently pulling. I'm going to anchor the right shoulder, the right side of the waist to the floor. Even though they're not touching, I'm just pressing them down and then pressing out through the right heel. Good. Okay, release, find your way back to your center. And then pseudo shavasana again, just feel. Even notice if your breath feels more relaxed. Okay, and then you'll bend your knees and roll yourself to the left. I'm just going to sit up and spin myself over. You can still be with you. And I'll use my block again. Again, you know, whatever you use is going to do something. So it's all good. Okay. So I'm just going to angle the block. I find that place just right under the underarm, side of the breast, side of the ribs. And you might support your head. You might take the right arm over. You know, it depends what you've got there. If you're on blanket, it's going to be a little bit more easy and accessible. If you're on block, it's going to be more discomfort and not as accessible. So once you're in, whatever that is, you know, just finding some dropping in, let the jaw go. And then just start to, you could take your right hand in front of you and just gently rock front to back, just a little bit. Find, these places that are tender. Good. Okay, and then I'm going to settle in here, coming forward a little bit. These places of most discomfort is what I want to drop into. Let the jaw go, and can extend yourself long or just support your head. But it's about releasing into your support. And we're breaking up, you know, fascia or things that get stuck. And this is such a place here. I just can feel like a release as I'm just dropping more in. This is a place we don't often get to, unless, you know, we're doing a lot of side bending. But this is a different thing. So I'm just going to take a few more breaths. Just letting yourself be very heavy. Notice if you're gripping in your jaw, your fingers. Okay, and then you'll make your way either off the block or just roll back onto your back. And we'll just all end up on our back. Whether you have your prop there or not, it's all fine. Just take pseudo shavasana. I have my knees bent, it's fine. You can have your legs stretched out. Just feel that you have created, released, opened, felt into. Again. And then I'll take arms overhead, extend the legs. Good. Okay, now right hand grabs left wrist, and you'll just crescent your chest, your head, your arms over to the right. So you can just lift them up, crescent over, and then walk your legs over to the right. This is crescent moon. And then add some extension and length through the left side by pulling that left arm, extending through your left heel. And then notice if you're rocking onto your right side, your left side's lifting, can you bring that back down? Okay, smile or release your jaw. It's adding as much effort as you can. Opening and breathing into the left side body. Good. Okay, release, bring yourself back into your Shavasana position and just feel what you've done. Good. Okay, and then we're just going to come back to that arm, the painting the rainbow thing. So open your legs a little wider if they're straight out, and take the right arm up to the sky, paint that rainbow, and reach. And if you're not on anything, you might even like reach the right hand past the left hand, and then come back and do the same with the left side. So left arm up and over, and then you reach past the right, and come back. Good. And just do that a few times. So you're rolling side to side, your legs might be moving, hips, just be free. But we're really just opening up the back. Let's just do one more on each side. Okay, and then come back, just take 2 breaths, do nothing. Okay, so if you're on your bolster blanket roll, you might be able to do this with it still in, or you might take it out. And what I'm going to do is take my right arm, it's going to come up to the sky, and I'm going to reach for my left leg and bring myself up to sitting as I do that. So you can use the left hand. I'm just going to reach for my left leg, and then I'm going to come back. I'm just going to come back down, both arms out, and then I'll reach the left arm up, lift the head, use your right arm if you need to, reach for your right leg, come back. Yeah, I'm just going to do that a few times, and I'm going to try not to use the opposite arm if I don't have to. That's just nice and controlled as best as you can. And this is really challenging because this is abdominal work and also side bending or side stretching. Then feel free to maybe bend your, it's actually harder if you bend your knees. Good. Okay, I'm going to do one more each side. Slow it down, because you'll get that little, where you kind of help yourself to come up. Good. And then pseudo shavasana, do nothing. Feel the fire. Good. Okay, and then we're gonna bend the knees. I'm gonna say roll over to your side and come up, but maybe you just want to do the Frankenstein lift and come up to sitting is fine too. And once you come up, however you got here, good for you. We're gonna take 2 blocks. Okay, I'm gonna put these blocks on mama bear height, and they're gonna be about this far apart so that the spine will be here. I'll just show this while we have the blocks this way. So I take my hands, good. Okay, I lift, I'm going highest height. So, there's a bit more stuff to be aware of. And then you can hold your head with your hands if you like. The elbows will point up to the sky. And you can start to descend the head. If you're on the highest height, you know, you might, or whatever height, you might want your legs bent and stretch them straight. You can put a third block under your head or release the head if that's okay to let it hang. And be as you are. It's nice and heavy on the blocks. Good. Descend what you can. Okay. So remember at the very beginning when we pulled those floating ribs in? I'm going to do that here, and just as if I'm pushing more of my back body into the blocks. If your elbows want to open, you're holding your head, that's fine. I notice that's what I'm doing. Good. Okay, take 2 more breaths. Good. Okay, if your head is, you're holding it or whatever, it's on a block even, lift it up, bring the chin to the chest. Then put your hands on the floor and press yourself up to sitting. And you're going to just remove the blocks. We're going to lie down again, Pseudo Shavasana, so we can feel. So just move your blocks, bring yourself back. You can open your arms out, you know, legs stretched, bent, whatever you like. Good. Okay, we're going to come back to the painting the rainbow. So however you want to do that on your, you know, your legs can go nice and wide. Just reach up and reach over, and you might even move as you reach to the over that other arm. You might even reach up towards the sky a little bit. I'm sorry, so not to like over your head, towards over your head, or whatever. It's all fine. Whatever you're doing is good. Just find a little bit of extension and movement, and we'll just do this a few times. Just rolling side to side, opening the backs of the heart. Good. Okay, I'm going to do one more on each side. Good. Okay, come back. Once you settle, feel the back of the shoulder blades nice and settled there. Good. Okay, I'm going to do that cross lateral sit up again. So hopefully that's okay for you. And if it's not, you're going to modify and figure out how to do this. So take the right arm. I'm just reaching across, slowly bringing myself up, reaching towards the left leg. And so the left hand can help, or you pick it up off the floor, or the right arm as you come up and you reach. Maybe both arms are going to reach. And then open out to the side. So whichever one, you know, now I'm taking both arms, reaching for one leg, coming back. And I'll just do that. See, I started with the left leg. So I'm going to do one more, reaching for the left, reaching for the right. I'm using both arms. You make it your own. Good. Okay. And then once you're done that, Pseudo Shavasana. Good. Okay, so we're going to come back up. So you're welcome to just roll to your side. Maybe it's a Frankenstein lift, or maybe it's a rock and roll this time. You'll bring your knees in and rock and roll yourself front to back. However you want to get up seated, do it. Love it. Good. Okay, and then from here, I'm going to take my 2 blocks again. And this time we're going to do the, you know, conventional one under the chest, one under the head. So they can go any height. You can do it at the highest height. You can do it at the baby height. It's all good. You know, you honor what you need. Okay, so I'm going to go highest height. And I'm actually going to sit in Virasana for this. So that for me is, you know, that's, I like it. And you could even use your 3rd block to sit on if this is interesting to you. You know, it's just, we add the legs. So you can also have the legs stretched out. Take the hands and kind of guide that block right underneath your chest. And you find the other one for the head. You could also have the head hanging if that's okay, you know, if you're okay like that. So whatever one. The one under the head is sometimes the hardest to place. And once I get there, I'm just going to lift my chest and put it back onto that block. Okay, so whatever works, you have one block underneath, in between your shoulder blades. You might even feel a little bit of pressure as long as it's not painful. And the head is supported or it's hanging, arms wherever you like. So you put your legs in either Virasana or stretched out straight, or they're bent. And here we are. This should be, I want to use the word comfortable. And I say it like that. It's not like, oh, it's so comfortable. It's comfortable. You can just drop in. So if you put your blocks too high or they're too low, then feel free to adjust. And if you are on the lowest height and you're like, oh, I think I could go a little higher, then just take the block out from behind your head. And that will add more lift to the chest. Okay, just settle in, let the jaw go. And then melting those bottom floating ribs. You don't have to pull them in so much, but just feel like, oh, I can let them descend. The back ribs can drop into the air pocket there. Okay, I'm going to add the pot of gold rainbow a little bit. Obviously, it's going to be different because of the height we're on. So I'm just going to take the right arm, like I'm painting a line over the horizon, and it's just going to reach the left without coming off the block. The shoulder might come off, and then I'll bring it back and do the same with the left. It's just coming up and over. So as you bring that arm over, you're putting a little bit more pressure onto the opposite side of the back body resting on the block. So just paint the lines a few times and then we'll just be on the blocks. So you can just drop in again. Soften your hands. Melt into the block. Let the jaw go, the breath go. And let's just do 2 more breaths here. And then we'll come off the block. So you might roll to the side or grab your head, chin to the chest, and then press yourself up. And then again, we're just going to come to lie down and feel all of that goodness. So find yourself back in your Shavasana rest with the legs open, arms open, and just feel almost imagining that, your back of your heart, your lungs, whatever else you feel is so heavy and grounded. You might even feel like that part's heavier and your arms and legs are like a little bit lifted. That's how I kind of feel right now. So feel your breath. Good. Okay, take your arms over your head and just bring your legs can stretch through the heels, the arms. Good. Okay, let's take the right hand, grab hold of the left wrist, lift your head and chest, crescent over to the right, and then walk your legs over to the right. So the torso stays pretty much where it is. And we're just moving the head, the heart, and the legs. And then find extension into the left side, press the left heel away. If you want to go a little deeper, the left ankle crosses over the right. So the left, sorry, not ankle, it would be the Achilles. The left leg crosses over the right. And then I really press the feet together. Okay, notice that the left side's hiking up, draw it down. Okay, find yourself back into your center, uncross. Breathe. And then do the same thing on the other side. So left hand grabs right wrist, lift your head and your chest, crescent to the left, walk your legs over to the left, and extend through the right heel, right arm, and just drawing the right side of your body down. You want to cross right leg over left. You know, I really press the edges of the feet together that are touching. And I'm not going to let the left foot wants to kind of drop over to the right, and I'm pushing it back over to the left. Good. And then release yourself back to your center. Just pause in the fullness of your breath. And okay. So again, we're going to come to sit. However you want to do that, rock and roll, or Frankenstein, bring yourself up, or bend your knees and roll to your side. It's all fine and lovely. Okay, so now we're going to do the front of the chest. So you can use your bolster. It's nice and soft and more pleasant than the block. So I'm going to use the block. So you'll put your bolster, your block, your blanket roll horizontally on your mat, and then you're going to put your chest on top of it. So if you're using the block, then it's a lot more feedback. And I'm going to get the girls right on top of that block, and I'll bring my head down, just put my hands, rest the forehead. Okay, then you feel free to wiggle or come back up, readjust, find what works. And if it's too much, throw the bolster or the blanket in there. Okay, legs can open a little bit wider out, and tuck your toes under if you like, or tops of the feet down. And I'm just going to drop into the breath here. And so I'll take these first few moments to just settle and to feel what's happening. And then when you have settled, you feel that you can start to bring your awareness to the back of the heart, the back of the lungs, and to really letting the breath expand into this back upper body. You might even use the visual of your own lungs. And if you think of, the trees outside without their leaves, and if you turn a tree upside down, that's pretty much what your lungs, I like to imagine they look like in my body. So feel that your breath is just expanding into all of those branches of the lungs. And you're just feeding, nourishing the back of the lungs. Like where your wings would be. And let's just take 2 more breaths. Nice, expansive, relaxed breathing. And, okay, and then we'll just press yourself up and back, and you might take child's pose here, but if you'd like to do downward dog, that's fine too. So I'm just going to take child's pose. Just move the prop out of the way, drop in. You can stretch your arms out or fold them in, and whatever works. Okay, and if you're in downward dog, you can just walk your hands to your feet. And if you're in child's pose, then you might just come up to your hands and knees, tuck your little toes under, and lift your hips up, walk your hands back. And we'll move into a version of forward fold. And this is really like our first leg stretch. So walk your legs apart if you need to, bend into your knees. Just let it be like a nice opening for your legs. And rock your hips side to side. Good. Okay. So my hands are on the floor. If your hands don't touch the floor, then grab your blocks. And I'll just show this with blocks. as if my hands didn't touch the floor. Okay, so you find your spacing for your forward folds here, whatever feels good. Good. And then we're just gonna walk the hands a little bit over. Let's go to the left first. And so I walk my hands a little bit over. I'm gonna take the right hand and just reach it forward. So with your block or on the floor is fine. Just reach and then shift your hips a little bit to the right. See if you can drop your head. Breathe. You can bend your knees. Like just, you can be playful here. How can I get a nice opening into the right side? Good. And then reverse. Just walk your hands in and over to the right. And then you can extend the left arm forward. Maybe you bend your knees. Maybe you pull the left hip back. You know, just kind of play. How can I find the best stretch here? Good. Okay, come back to your center and drop into whatever center is, with blocks, without. Good. Okay, and then just come to sit for a moment just so you can see what we're gonna do. I'm just gonna adjust the camera. And I'm gonna use the wall here. So this, you know, you'll figure out what works. We're gonna take Ardha Chandrasana with the wall. So I have my blocks and I'll just, you know, I'll talk you through. You're just gonna watch. So I have one foot, take one foot to the wall. Here's Ardha Chandrasana. One hand comes forward, one up. So this is it. Then we're gonna change this a little bit. So we're here. Now what I'm gonna do is turn this foot on the floor and walk my hands here. So I'm just gonna get into these legs and you might, you know, do this. So we're just gonna play and then we'll come back. Ardha Chandrasana, bring it down. Okay, so I'll talk you through. So if you have, you can use your kitchen counters or whatever you have here. Your fridge is all fine. Anything you're gonna push into. You take your hands, you have this like, you know, half little forward fold. I'm gonna step the right foot forward a little bit. Take the hands forward, you know, you kind of find your place. Take the left leg, see if you can find the wall. And once you hit the wall, turn the left toes out to the left. Your right foot is pointing straight. Okay, so once you're here, now what happens sometimes, you know, we'll tuck in. I want to press the thighs back, lengthen, you know, that whole back, pressing the right thigh back. Now I take the right hand forward on my block, left hand to my hip, lift the chest, reach the left arm, firm your legs, press the legs towards the wall. Open your chest if you can look up, smile, take one more breath, and then we'll take the hands down. I'm on my blocks. I'm gonna turn my right foot to point to the left and walk my hands over to the left. We're like super acrobatics. You can take your left arm up, reach up, open, and bring it down. Maybe the right arm comes up. Good. If you need to bend your knees here, yeah, you just kind of get playful, really opening the legs. I'm just gonna take one more breath in and out. Looks so good. Good. And then walk yourself back to your Ardha Chandrasana. Good. Okay, now stay here with the right foot's pointing straight, left toes are gonna point down. I'm gonna bend my right knee as I push the left foot into the wall. Good. You might even anchor your hands, lift your chest, and look forward. Good. And then release your legs, come back to your forward fold here. Hands on the blocks or on the floor. Let your head go and just kind of feel. Good. Okay, and then we're gonna do the second side. So hands to the blocks, and then figure out your spacing. Left foot steps forward, pointing straight ahead, and the right foot's gonna find the wall. So you might have to hop back or whatever you need to do. Turn the right toes out to the right. Now take the left hand forward. And then find your anchoring, pressing the legs, even the left thigh towards the wall. Right hand can come to your hip. You open your chest. You reach up with your right arm. Use everything. Push the left hand down, the right foot into the wall, left foot into the floor. Reach the right arm. You can look up. Breathe. You can do this on the other side, but let's do this here. Take the right arm and reach it up and over your right ear. Breathe. Good. Okay, bring the right hand back to the block. Turn your left foot to point to the right and walk your hands over. Good. Okay, and then you're here, and you can, depending what you need, maybe you just need to bend your knees a little bit. Otherwise, we keep the left hand on the block and we'll reach the right arm up. And you might just switch. The left arm's not going to lift that high. Just play, or just bend your knees. Like, be playful here. What is this bringing up? Good. Okay, and then we come back. Oops, lost my blocks. No problem. Okay, turn the right toes to point down, and then push the right heel into the wall as you bend the left knee. And it could just be a micro bend. Really push in, anchor the hands, lift the chest if you can. Take the bottom ribs in. Breathe. Good. And then release. Good. Open your legs apart. I'm coming down for squat. I'm going to turn the toes out a little bit. Now you can take those blocks. You can sit on them. That could be your squat. Or no blocks. Good. Okay, maybe the hands come up. Maybe they're on the floor. If your heels are up, maybe you want to rock, you want to move, or you want to be still. It's all fine. Breathe. Okay. Now, if you're comfortable here, whatever that means, I'm going to reach the arms up. And I'm like, yay! And it takes the weight back a little bit into the heels. Good. Okay. And then we'll come to sitting. So you might reach your arms forward and, whatever you need to do. Come and sit. Yes. Okay. Good. Maybe the feet come together. You sit cross-legged. Just feel all that goodness into your open lungs. Okay. So before we move into Shavasana, we're just going to come back to that very first pose you did, where you had either your bolster or your blanket roll underneath your chest. So whichever one, you can switch it. You might use blocks even. I could take my blocks and put them, same kind of thing. So either bolster, well, I'm going to use the blocks. Bolster, blocks, blanket, something under your head, under your hips if you need it. See, I said coughing is good. It means we're opening something. So there we go. Yay me. So whatever you have here, arms maybe over top. You might even start to open your arms up towards overhead or halfway. You can stretch your legs out, Baddha Konasana or bent knees. Okay, and then find your Shavasana here. Like, even though we're not going to stay here for Shavasana, but drop in. Let the chest be heavy. Good. Okay. So from here, we're going to bring the arms over the head. So reach them up first towards the sky, palms facing each other. Open your hands, reach up, and then start to descend these arms over your head. At the same time, you're pulling these bottom ribs in, reaching your thumbs towards the floor. They don't have to touch. Just reach your arms, pull the bottom ribs in, soften your jaw. Take 2 more breaths. Okay. And then we'll bring your arms to a place where you can roll to the side or press yourself up. Remove your props. And we're going to bring that, whatever your bolster, blanket roll, your blocks, so we can lift the hips. So just bring yourself back onto your back. Have your props handy. And take a moment here. Feel the back of your heart so heavy. And then you'll bend your knees, lift your hips, and put your blocks or your bolster or something there underneath the sacrum. And I'm just going to double up the blocks here because I have two. And if you need something for underneath your head, put it there. Okay, this is a great pose, my friends. And I know most of you like this. It is an inversion. You know, your heart is lifted above your head. Hips are above the heart. And we're just ascending more weight, gravity, breath into the lungs. And feel free to lift your head and just bring it back down, almost like tucks in. Let the jaw soften and melt yourself here. However you want to have your legs is fine with me. Be stretched out straight, bent, whichever one. Okay, just nice, easy breathing. Let's think of it more as watering, irrigating, nourishing, clearing and cleansing. Okay. And then just a few more breaths here. And it's not, you're just going to play a little bit with these floating ribs. If you want to take your fingers and just touch the ribs at the front of your body, you know, you can feel where they connect, your xiphoid process and how they come down. And as you breathe here, just feel that as you inhale what they're doing, and as you exhale, can you just descend them down as if you're pressing the floating ribs to the back and pressing into that air pocket. Maybe you're hanging out in here. Just adding a little bit of pressing the ribs down as you exhale. Not enough to bring in tension, just enough to feel that there's an anchoring. Good. And do one more. And then just be here. Shavasana. Bring your gaze into your own heart. Okay. And then we'll come off the blocks. You can lift your hips, slide them out. If you want to stay on your blocks and play, this is, you know, take your time. We're at that place now. We're going to move into Shavasana. So if there's anything else you need, then invite that in. And I'm going to do a legs up the wall for my Shavasana here. Just that same idea of just getting the back of the heart heavy. So you're welcome to do this or just set yourself up in any way you like. And I'm not going to be right against the wall. I'm going to give myself a little bit of space. And I will wrap the legs up once I'm in it too. So I'm finding whatever works, you know. I have a nice angle on my legs. We're not right at the wall. And I have a lift underneath the hips. So a little bit more heaviness in the back of the lungs. If you want your eye pillow, whatever you need. Okay, so if you're still fiddling and you're going in legs up the wall, I'm just wrapping my legs up so that they'll kind of stay together. I'm going to use between the legs, just wrap them up nice and tight if that works. Okay. Making yourself comfortable. Really resting into all of that work you've done. Opened up, the front of the chest, the sides, the back. And we've stretched the inseams of our legs. And hopefully your hands right now feel very nicely relaxed and open. You might even feel into the vibrational energy in your palms. And descending your inner gaze down. As you slip into Shavasana, I just gift you mantra here, and you might repeat to yourself a few times, I am grounding. I am grounding energy. You can keep that mantra or let it go and rest in your own stillness. Softening the back of your heart space towards the floor. I am grounding. I am grounding energy. And staying in your stillness or in your Shavasana for longer. And if you're ready to come out, then just gently finding little movements, kind of wake yourself up. And just go nice and slow. So you might bend your knees or hug them in, and you might rest there for a few breaths. To giving glory and gratitude for your open breath and your freed lungs. And bringing yourself onto your side when you feel ready, and just resting in your fetal position. Making your way to your seated whenever you feel ready. And just meet here. Nice. And, well, let's do this, my friends. Take one hand to your heart and take the other hand behind your heart. However you can reach there, even if it's low down, it's fine. And just feel yourself as container and contained, but so open inside. Just honoring all within. Just change your hands so we give an extra or the same side, same stretch to the other side. So just holding yourself here. And then bringing your hands to your heart. So either folding them into your heart space or pressing one palm into the other. Lengthen yourself tall. And as you exhale, bow your chin to all that you are and to your practice, to your presence, and to the people we practice and share this space with, just honoring all that is right now. And we'll seal this class with our May We Be Blessed mantra and an Om. Inhale. May we be blessed with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be healthy. May we be happy. Inhale. And take a full inhale. Breathe into your hands. Catch your breath. Lift your chin. Open your eyes. Offer that for yourself. And then out. Good. And great love in my heart. Yes. Mwah. Namaste, my friends. Good. Yes. Thank you. And happy Friday. Little puppy. Good. Thank you, guys.